All right, welcome back to the No Cap News Recap right here on Live Live. I'm JT. You are
LAG,
yeah.
and we are live. You know what? JT, you know what I realized? It's
What's that?
420. We have
Oh,
no context on 420. No clips, no nothing.
I want to say happy 420, but I have to give context to that. I'm not talking about the fact that it's Hitler's birthday. I'm not talking about the anniversary of the Columbine shooting. I am talking about the cannabis uh, holiday esque celebrations. And happy Easter to those that do that.
Yeah, happy Easter, happy Cannabis Day.
So you to kick off the show,
Yeah,
you
so
want to
we are.
give some of your favorite strains?
Nah, I'm not good with that. I'm not good with descriptions. I'm not good with any of that. Actually, somebody gave me, I went to a cannabis event last night and someone gave me a pack of edibles. I am not good. I just know whatever's available is usable and that's it. I'm not, I mean, I saw somebody using some dab. It took them forever to get it off the little stick thing. I'm like, put it in the vaporizer. I'm not mechanical like that when it comes to all of this stuff, but you got some pros out there that is definitely a culture. I think I might tap into it as far as an entrepreneurial moment for myself, because medicinal. I believe that cannabis does help with pain, severe pain, and I've experienced that in the past, and that was like my journey into understanding how cannabis actually works. So my approach for it would be like, telling people don't worry about like recreational use, but if you're in severe pain, you don't want to be using opioids, like try to give your body a break from those and try it. You don't have to necessarily smoke it. They have teas now, they have liquids, they have edibles, you have options. You don't have to smoke it. You don't have to smoke paper, no leaves, anything like that. But it can definitely help with severe pain. And it's used for cancer patients that are in severe pain, but you don't necessarily have to have cancer to be suffering from, any kind of severe pain. But I think I may take that entrepreneurial journey into like wellness, wellness with cannabis type of thing. So we'll see, you know. But 420 to everybody that's doing their thing today and yesterday, Saturday, everybody was out and about. What's your take on 420?
Um, yeah, I think I like. I don't begrudge anybody for doing it. So yeah,
So
roll
yeah,
it,
yeah.
roll it, light it, smoke it.
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in this thing, man. And now, I can see how kids get caught up with it. Like they got pre-rolls now. Like you don't even have to. A kid no longer has to stash this stuff in their house, and they got pre-rolls in a capsule. That who's gonna smell that at home? I can
No,
see why it's just so accessible for kids, man. It's just for
forget
kids.
about pre rolls. You got vapes and all that stuff. But I'm like the pre rolls. I'm like that's a money grab. That's
Well,
like
you have vapes, but these kids love to literally smoke the leaves, but they can hide it. They can hide it in a pre-roll in a capsule, and you wouldn't find it. Like you would have to like do a warrant search of their room or something. But it's and the candies, man, taste so great. Like the candies make you feel like you're eating candy, and then you sitting still for 13 hours. You can't move. So these kids are really like trying this stuff with no guidance. But I can understand why the culture has definitely expanded. But happy 420 for those of you that's doing it recreationally, and for those that's getting money. You know, I'm on the get money side, so yeah. I might do some wellness stuff in the future. But speaking of 420 and craziness, what we got for our stories today?
um yeah. So
First
let's get
story.
let's get into your meat story.
Major suppliers have
story-
been caught using a special product known as meat glue to stick together scraps of meat to sell as prime cuts. Here's Rodney Lowe's with this special investigation.
I've just got some fine diced beef and my special enzyme. I'm just going to mix it up a bit.
Why have we got the masks on?
This is dangerous. See that? Don't breathe that in.
This powder is transglutaminase enzyme, otherwise known as meat glue. Meat glues come in a number of forms, some produced by cultivating bacteria, the others, the primary ingredient comes from the blood plasma of pigs and cattle, specifically the coagulant which causes blood to clot. Ours uncooked is easy to spot the difference, but cooked is another story. Okay, so the meat glue one is on the right and the real McCoy is on the left. And it's not just beef. Pork, lamb, fish and chicken are all stuck back together using this glue.
If this food is sold or represented as a solid piece of steak and you cook it rare, you're really leaving yourself open to get food poisoning.
And chances are, unless you're a vegetarian, you're eating it on a regular basis.
So what do you think about glued meat?
I was like, that ain't got nothing to do with me until they said the word chicken. Man, and I've had some bad rubbery chicken. Like rubbery chicken is gonna be glued meat. Or like when you have rubbery meat now, you're gonna be like it's glued meat or something now. Like I don't. What the hell is the FDA and the USDA and all? Yeah, I see why they get rid of all these government waste and all this stuff because they're not doing their jobs.
It's approved. It's approved meat. It's an approved enzyme glue for meat. The safest meat would be chicken wings and drumsticks. Those would be like the safest meats because everything else, or ribs, those would be the safest because if you just like steak, like how he showed it, how would you know? Or a hamburger, you wouldn't know.
No, but they even soup those up because I'm like I've seen some chicken legs or some wings or whatever, and I'm like this is like
really
biggest
big?
turkey legs and stuff. I'm like ain't no chicken that big.
I mean, I've never seen a chicken that big, but I mean, I don't know what's worse, injecting chickens with antibiotics or this glued meat. I don't know. I'm not sure because if it's glued meat, here's the thing. If you take two different meats and glue them together, but both meats are still fresh, is that okay or not okay?
I'm like, I think that this should be a First Amendment issue. Like, you have freedom of religion, right? If you telling me that there's some pork or some pork pig or some cow in my chicken, hey, this could be violating my religious beliefs or something. I don't like we gotta nip this in the bud. Like
there could be a bill of rights for food. There could be a bill of rights for food. How food gets distributed to us, the constituents of this country. You can have that bill of rights. What would be like your top 5 for bill of rights? If it came down to FDA writing them, how you go to the hospital, they have patients' bill of rights. So if we had a food bill of rights from the FDA, what would be like your top 5?
Truth and not advertising, but truth in packaging. Like, if you tell me that there's some other stuff in this, I'm not gonna buy it. Like it's a reason why hot dogs are like the cheapest things because people know that it's mystery mixture meat or whatever the hell. So I'm like, I don't want to buy, an expensive filet and find out that later that it was glued together.
That is something else. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm. I think my top 5 would be like. I mean, are you done with your top 5? Or you got 4 more? Like, you got 4 more, or that's just like
no,
one?
this is really on the spot. Like I gotta sit and think about that. I'll let you go. And
I
maybe
know.
I'll come.
Off the top, I know my vegetables and fruits need to not be sprayed with pesticides. I know that for a fact. No wax on it. For seafood, I do buy seafood that says farm raised, no antibiotics. Like I get most of my seafood from Costco. Shout out to Costco. I can say Costco. They're not a sponsor of the show, but they're definitely about consumers. You know, we saw that, you know, with the whole blackout and retail and stuff like that, and them being like responsive to our needs as blacks.
You shouting them out, and they closed
But I
today on
come
Easter.
a lot of. Yeah, they did close. They did close for Easter. They did the whole retail blackout for Easter. Walmart did not do it. So, but Costco's did do that. So yeah, but I think like, you know, just knowing where the seafood is coming from. If it's farm raised, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. You know, if it's farm raised versus being in the wild, I don't see the big difference if there's no antibiotics being used and they're taking care of the shrimp and the lobsters and the crabs. I'm good for that. But I don't eat
No,
all the meats though.
no
So
steroids and you know, all of that
yeah,
stuff
to make them bigger, you don't need all of that. Just I'm good with a small size lobster. I'm good with that. It doesn't have to be a huge lobster tail. So, you know, the world is being more populated. So we just gotta have some kind of solutions. But those solutions should be healthy for us. It shouldn't kill us in 50 to 100 years. You know, it really shouldn't. So yeah, you know, I'm with it. That's like the ones that I can come up with. As far as like sugar goods, I would say that we can minimize the sugar, the glucose. You don't need a fructose and a glucose in a product. So if you read the label and it has both of those and then the corn syrup, we don't need all of that.
yeah. Give us
Some of
real
that.
cane sugar like they got in Mexico.
Yeah, like you know, I bought a Mexican Coca-Colas for a friend of mine who has a business. So whenever I go to Costco, I grab a couple of cases of that and give it to her. And that's pure cane sugar. So those would be like around like my top 5 of like just what I think should be okay for FDA Bill of Rights. But yeah, that's it. So glued meats. See, if you eat seafood, well, crabs, you don't have to worry about that. If you eat shrimp, you don't have to worry about glued meat. So consider that. Think about that.
And less
You don't
preservatives.
have to
Like
worry.
you gotta eat it while it's hot. Get it while the getting's good. You know.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, that's cool. Alrighty. Okay, on to the next clip. We got this McDonald's mess here. Check this one out. Let's see what we got.
All right, now back to what I was saying, bro. Like the meat, the freezer, in Clinton, Mississippi, McDonald's, they be fucked up, and y'all come and eat it. They be every day. Like look at how soggy this shit is. Like look at this shit. That shit mushed up. Like they what y'all like to eat though, mushy shit. Food just mushed the fuck up. Everything mushy as shit in there, motherfucker. Look at the hash browns for breakfast. Look at the biscuits in that bit. This shit is unthawed, and y'all love coming to this piece of shit. Clinton, Mississippi, by the way.
Hold up. Unthawed means frozen. So did he mean thawed or did he mean unthawed? Anyway, this was a nice hood expose.
One, I'm not sure if I could go to Mississippi because of his accent. His accent is like on country steroids. Oh my God, that's the first thing. But unthawed is frozen, but I think he's angry and he's giving us access to what he sees. Now, I saw the fish fillet. I think that was fish fillet and the hash browns. Them hash browns are hitting, but if he's showing them like not frozen, but they don't have to be. Do they have to be frozen or can they just be refrigerated? Like, what are we talking here? What's the rule on fast food? Should it be frozen or refrigerated?
I'm not a chef, so I don't. Like I don't know. Like Wendy's is always advertising never frozen meat, so I'm like, I guess frozen is a bad thing.
I mean, if they get so much product, we know these fast foods turn their food over. Like, does it need to be frozen? Because it has to be fast food. So if it's frozen, it's not going to be cooked right away. So why would it be frozen? Is it fresh in the refrigerator? He's saying it's mushy because it's refrigerated. It has to be cooked fast because it's fast food. So who's wrong here, him or us? It has to be cooked fast. It's not going to be cooked fast if it's frozen. So it goes into
maybe they take so many out per so many hours. You know, that's why when you go there, they're like, hey man, you got to wait 20 minutes or something for, you know, something else to come out or whatever. Because maybe they got to thaw and cook and all that. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know.
Shout out to Applebee's. Right? Shout out to Applebee's. They're not a sponsor of the show yet, but I took a field trip to an Applebee's. They showed the students their kitchen. They showed us how they cook the food. They showed us their refrigerators and their freezers. Everything was laid out nice and neat. The space was clean. And this is Applebee's on Fulton Street and New York Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. So they're not a sponsor, but I'm saying from my experience, like they showed us everything. And I was impressed. I was really impressed. They do let you know it's food service product, meaning that the food is built and prepared for food service industry. It's for a restaurant. It's not built for your home. So when you go to a restaurant, you're expecting their freezer. Maybe you're expecting their freezer to look like what you have at home, but it's not. They have a higher turnover with their food. So their freezer and refrigerator is not going to look like ours at home. So something that you probably will freeze at home, they probably can't freeze it because they need to use it often, and that they get deliveries all the time for food. So shout out to Applebee's. I had a really good experience in understanding food industry, which is completely separate from home. So I think this individual in the video over in Clinton, Mississippi, maybe he doesn't understand the food service industry as deeply as he should, even working at McDonald's, because McDonald's, you can really climb the ladder there and become a manager, district manager, general manager, whatever you need to be. So maybe he just doesn't understand how things go there. And he's just probably upset. Maybe maybe they lowered his hours. He's not getting as many hours or something, but food service is definitely different. Yeah, he's mad. He's mad. They cut his hours. He's mad. He's mad. So yeah, shout out to Clinton, Mississippi, to that McDonald's, but he's angry. And you know, I feel like he's angry just from my experience at having a tour at a Applebee's. So, you know, here we go. We got another we have another situation regarding food, and I don't know
before you get into that, like, comment, subscribe, share the video out, leave us a comment. And, you know, if you feel so generous, the Cash App is right below.
Yeah, that helps. That helps the show. That keeps me motivated on a Sunday. Definitely. Tell us what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show, microphone, lighting, how we look, anything that can help us improve the show. Maybe we need to cancel the show. I don't know. Give us your feedback. Yo, they need to cancel the show. They're not doing what they need to do. Let us know so we can make an improvement. Shout out to the No Cap News Recap Show.
You think you could do better? Ham up.
Join the team. How about that? Join the team. So
yeah, you gotta join us because ain't no way you're gonna beat us. So.
Yeah, join the team. We welcome the competition, but definitely you could join the team. So this next video is definitely about the flavor of meat. Let's see this one.
I just got Kentucky Fried Chicken flavored toothpaste. toothpaste. What do we got in here? We have what looks like a toothbrush, and it looks like that is the toothpaste. I hope it tastes like fried chicken. This is their toothbrush with Colonel Sanders and KFC on the front of it. That is crazy, dude. This is a legit KFC collab with Hi Smile. Hi Smile actually made me my own custom one as well called Kyle Soda and tastes like Mountain Dew. Let's pop the cap. First, the smell test. I do smell it a little bit. I really don't want to do this. Might as well use their toothbrush too, right? All right, what color do you think it's gonna be? Oh, it looks like it's just white. Load it up. What does it smell like? I do this for you guys. Hi Smile, Kentucky Fried Chicken flavored toothpaste. Let's do it. I have to stop. Oh, it left like a grease flavor in my mouth. Colonel Sanders is rolling in his grave right now, but 100,000 likes and I'll compare it to real KFC.
That's exactly what I thought it was going to taste like. Fried chicken grease.
I thought the same thing, but you know, he's a content creator, right? So he got our attention, but that's what I thought. I thought it was going to taste like grease.
But I'm like, it's KFC. They're always advertising these 11 herbs and spices or whatever. I'm like, why wouldn't you make the toothpaste taste like the herbs and spices?
No, they wanted to taste like the grease so you can buy it again. I thought the toothpaste was going to be brown. I thought it was going to be brown.
I'm like, people brush their teeth to get that taste out of their mouth. So they're going to brush the teeth to keep the taste in their mouth. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Just like you get, like how you buy the kids, bubble gum flavored toothpaste. Yeah. That's it.
But bubble gum, like when you kissing somebody, it's like the fresh mouth or whatever. Like you're like, yeah, the acid reflux mouth, basically you're getting now because you're getting like the grease and just no. Like
I don't. Maybe that was a promo thing. Maybe just a promotional thing. I doubt that they're selling that in the store. I doubt it.
Oh, the article I saw, it said it was sold out.
Sold out where? In Clinton, Mississippi? Where? Sold out in Clinton, Mississippi, next to the McDonald's, maybe. That's crazy. Sold out where? Come on. Who's buying that?
You know, you could do a limited run of like 100, and then 100 is sold out. You know, it's just, I don't know how many
selling out 100. We're giving 100 away, but we're not selling out 100. Come on, we're not doing numbers like that on some chicken grease toothpaste. Come on now. Nah. I disagree. I disagree with that. And that's his fault for trying it. But like he said, give me $100 and I'll compare it to the real chicken. He trying to get a come up. We offer that. Next. What's the next video? What's the next video? I'm gonna pay him $100 to compare that to real chicken.
All right. Let's everybody's been criticizing this new / old president, 45, 47, whatever you want to call it. But not all the executive orders have been bad.
Finally tonight, the record will show that on day 80, President Trump got around to the plumbing.
He raised the water output limit on shower heads to 2.5 gallons a minute. Mr. Trump had long complained the water pressure in the White House was not sufficient for his showering needs.
It turns out he was not the first. Lyndon Johnson had 6 strategically placed shower heads installed and constantly badgered the maintenance staff to raise the pressure and the temperature, driving one plumber to a nervous breakdown.
Richard Nixon had the LBJ shower removed. He, of course, had his own problems with plumbers and water-related matters. Showering was not one of them.
Yeah. So
we needed
water pressure is very much welcome by me.
So we need an executive order for water pressure and shower heads.
Yeah, because the federal government has limited the water pressure based on environmental need and Trump thinks that environmental stuff is what is it, the new green scam or whatever you call it. So he don't give a damn about conserving water at all. So, and I'm like, this is a first world country, so let's waste the water or whatever. I guess I don't know.
So he said you're gonna be able to use 2.5 liters of water in 5 minutes. 2.5 gallons of water in 5 minutes, right?
No, it's not 5 minutes. That would be like a drip. I'm like, no, I think it's 2.8 gallons a minute or something like that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Unbelievable.
I could be getting off topic, but then there's the the whole thing that was going on like 3-4 years ago where white people were talking about how they don't wash below the knees. They're like the suds just end up washing it down below or whatever, and I don't have to wash my feet and all that type of stuff. So I'm like, maybe white feet will be a little bit cleaner with higher water pressure, being the fact they don't actually dedicate washing time to that.
I don't see why that's even a discussion. I don't see why that's even a discussion.
The water
hot. I don't have a problem with low water pressure. If the water's hot, I'm good. I mean, I grew up with no hot water at times. Like, the builder didn't have water. They couldn't pay the bill. The landlord couldn't pay the bill or the hot water tank was broken. Like, I mean, maybe I'm just like, survival mode. You got water, so use what you can. I don't know. But I don't know why it's even news. That's something internal. That's White House internal stuff. Get the janitor, the porter, or the superintendent. They can easily fix it. Why is it headline news? Why are we talking about it?
No, because it applies to everybody, though.
I mean, you can adjust your water listen, if I was a tenant in a building and I had a problem with my shower, I would change my water head myself. Yep. I would change my water head. That has the option for you to turn it to where you can get more pressure through it. I would just change it. Yep. So I don't know. What you think? Do you like heavy water?
I'm like more water pressure means that the shower, the sink, whatever, it gets hotter. The water gets hotter quicker. So because more water is going through it quicker. Yeah, I'm all for it.
No, the water pressure is separate from the water temperature of the water. The water pressure is how it comes out. The water temperature is how hot it is.
Yeah, but I'm saying it takes time for the water to get hot. And I'm like,
No, it takes time for it to come through the pipe. It's already hot from the hot water tank.
Yeah, so I'm saying if you're putting more water pressure through the nozzle or through the faucet or whatever, then
I'll get
the hot water sooner.
I see what you're saying. All right, so I guess he get a shout out for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shout out Trump, man, for the water pressure. We appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Trump for the little water pressure. Thanks, we appreciate it. You didn't get my vote, but shout out for the water pressure. Get out of here with that. Because he's there, got to be like, come on, we're not doing that. Come on now. Anyway,
we gotta look for the positives in things. So this is just
okay. All right, he got one. These tariffs is not suitable though. All right, that's all I'm saying. These tariffs is really crunching pockets. So that's another topic.
Yeah, I'm like when people say, "Hey, my company, my business is underwater." Hey, he's giving you the water.
Yeah, okay. I guess the hotel industry might be mad about this because they have to use more water, which means rates are going to go up. Any hospitality where you have to provide water is going to now, okay, we got to revisit these rates now. That's going to impact everything. Come on. Now people are going to be like, well, I'm entitled to extra water pressure. So if I don't get it, I'm going to write a bad review. Okay, so now you got to pay more because it's going to cost them more money now. He's just crumbling the economy. That's my point. But let me digress. We on to the next video. My bad.
I want to hear your
now.
segue from this story into the next one. Let's see what your segue, how you can segue this to the next story.
From Trump to the slave Bible? There is none. Freedom to the people. That's all I can say. Freedom to the people.
Inside Washington's Museum of the Bible, a single volume that is like no other. The so-called Slave Bible. Remarkable not for what's in it, but for what's not.
So about 90% of the Old Testament's been removed and about 50% of the New Testament's been removed. To put it another way, a normal King James Version has 1,189 chapters in it. The Slave Bible has only 232.
Missing are chapters and verses that might have encouraged uprisings. Book of Exodus, redacted. No story of Moses demanding Pharaoh, let my people go. Gone is Galatians, and the verse, there is neither bond nor free, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And no Jeremiah, woe unto him that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
What they've left in are verses such as Ephesians 6:5, which is the famous verse, slaves be obedient to your master.
Looking at this Bible, it's hard to tell that anything's been taken out of it.
That's correct. I mean, it looks like a normal book. For many enslaved Africans, this would have been the first time they were exposed to the Bible.
A Bible selectively edited to instill obedience, using religion to underpin the horror of slavery. The Slave Bible designed to repress rebellion, but it didn't work. Enslaved people in the Caribbean constantly fought against slavery until emancipation.
I think it's very relevant to understand our history, not just American history, but our African American history, our roots and how we got to this point.
A dark chapter in the history of the good book.
I saw that Bible in person, and it actually looks intact. It doesn't look like any pages were taken out from it. So I'm curious, like they must have like
no, it was
took it apart.
Specifically printed for that.
Right. Okay. So they had typo printing back then, typography it's called, and then they just printed it together. They printed all of that and then put it together and created. That was the only piece of literature that the slaves were allowed to read. And so they learned how to read through reading that Bible. That Bible is in the museum, still intact. It looks good. It's a believable story. I like that someone white is covering it rather than, sometimes when we're telling our own stories to the world and other people, it just looks like we're pleading our case again for being, descendants of slaves and stuff like that. So I like that the history is being told from other people because people like to think that it's more credible. So, but it's someone else that's telling our story for us. And we need that. We need that a lot. But I did see the Bible. You should go to the museum. The Bible Museum is really nice. They have everything in there. It's really, really nice. The kids enjoyed it, but that particular one is on display, and they describe why and how it was used. That for the free schools, it was used to the slaves were conditioned that this is how you're going to learn how to read, and so they were happy to read the Bible, and with that, they were willing to practice whatever they read in the Bible. So, yeah. It's good. What do you think? I mean, it's manipulation at its finest, though.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this is what we're reading, and this is what the Bible says about you, that you're meant to be enslaved. That has to be like a weird time. Well, they were learning to read English because the slaves that came over were already speaking and reading and writing in their own language. They were learning to read English.
Well, I'm like, what do you call it? It's nothing new under the sun. This is history repeating itself right now. They taking Black history out of schools and stuff now, whatever, because little white kids feel sad about what their ancestors did, whatever. So no more American Black history and stuff like that. So they redact and abridge and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like that story. Good one. That's a good story. Shout out to all the slaves that wasn't hearing and they broke free from that Bible and was like, yo, we're going to do it our way. Shout out to Haiti, for real. Shout out to Haiti. Shout out to Haiti. Yeah, alrighty. So what's the next one?
I have no tie-in. Like these are your stories, so like I have no tie-in.
Listen, I love this story. Like I love fashion, and this is perfect. This is a perfect story for prisoners.
Every single person you see right here are prisoners here inside of El Salvador, but they are now being used to help rebuild and reshape the entire country. Each person you see right now here has a sewing machine, and they are making the clothes for schools, hospitals, and for they themselves. All the clothes that they're wearing right now have been made here inside this factory. There are over 2,000 people here inside of this factory right now, and all of these prisoners, every single day they work here inside this factory, 2 days is taken off of their sentence. So that means if they're supposed to serve 4 years, they can technically serve only 2 years if they work inside this factory every single day, helping reduce the time of these people's sentences and also helping build up the country as well. They have 3 shifts of 2,000 people, so 24/7 this factory is running each and every single day with over 6,000 prisoners working inside of this factory. You do not see any distractions, any cell phones, any music, any TVs. All of these prisoners are just working here inside El Salvador. 24/7. There's 2,000 people inside of this factory. These people are on a shift for 8 hours, and then the next shift comes in 24/7. This place is operating.
So I see what you're saying out there. You said you have a clothing line or fashion stuff, whatever, on the way. So I'm like, you found yourself a factory plant or whatever.
That's a come up. That's what that's called. That's called a come up. Listen. Normally they pay them like a few cents to make furniture. Like I don't really care about the furniture, but clothing, that's a hit right there. Like, yo, you do a contract with the government, like, yo, we're gonna produce this brand, we're gonna use your prisoners, we give y'all a cut on the proceeds from the brand, give the prisoners some money. That's a come up. That right there. Clothing, that's it, because everybody needs clothing. People don't really need furniture. I mean, furniture is cool to have, but that right there, around the clock, and they're learning a skill. They're learning how to sew. When they come out, I mean, they go in learning carpentry, they learn how to build furniture, but they'll learn how to sew, man. Like that's providing for yourself, being able to make an outfit when you can't afford one. Get 2 to 3 yards of fabric, you could make a shirt and a top and a bottom out of that. I like that because I like fashion, but
I'm like South America, is known for, like their crops or whatever. So obviously what evolved out of their weaponry was like the machete from cutting down brush and cane and all that stuff, whatever. I'm like, is the new South American weapon going to be a knitting needle? Like, do we have to be worried about people walking down the street with knitting needles now? Like,
no,
I've been trained with a knitting needle from my El Salvadorian prison.
Nah, a knitting needle, it might scratch you up, but it's not going to do the same amount of damage as a machete or cutlass. West Indians call it a cutlass. So yeah, I like that. I like that one. They running a mill around the clock 24/7. They got 3 shifts. I like that idea.
They still ain't got shit on China, because what I heard about Apple this week or whatever is it was like for them to move their entire operation to America, they would have to like basically shut a city the size of like Boston down, and everybody in that city would just be making iPhones.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And they sell these things for how much is an iPhone? $1,200, $1,300, $1,800. There'll never be a sponsor to this show because I don't have one. I don't support expensive devices.
No, stop your blasphemy on this Easter Sunday. With Jesus rose and prophesied the iPhone, and which is why, yes, like
I just dropped my phone yesterday on the street, cracked the screen. I just repaired it.
Because it's not an Apple. It wouldn't crack if it was an Apple. So.
It would have cracked. I just have no interest in the area of cell phones and tablets. I'm surprised
you just
my
want all
computer
your
has
text to show
survived.
up on green for other people.
What'd you say?
You just want all your text to show up as green to other people.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I don't know. Like, so they have a whole factory. Did they build their own factory in China?
Yeah, they have it's like a mini city of people that work there or whatever. Like it's real sweatshop labor or whatever you want to call it. Like, you know.
Why couldn't they build it here in the United States and hire Americans? That's interesting.
I just told you they would have to shut down a whole city to get that. And mind you, China has billions of people. We are just have like 300 million or something. So it's like, yeah, they have the amount of people to just say, yeah, you guys could just work on Apple products. We'll be good.
We got plenty of land out here. We got green belts. Well, you can't touch green belts, but we have land in this country everywhere. They could find some land and build a whole Apple City. Come on now. They can do that.
And I'm saying, where are we going to get the people from? Because if it takes 100 million people to do this, that's just 10% of their country. That's a third of our country.
So you saying we don't have enough people to produce?
No.
That's crazy. That's interesting. Okay, then. All right. I trust you. I'm not really, I trust you. All right, Apple, you got it. Build your Apple City in China. We need to take a lot. If we get all these prisoners out, we'll have something. You get all these prisoners here in the U.S., how many prisoners are we holding down? Get all these prisoners, lock them in, let them do what that country's doing. Yo, round the clock. Y'all knocking out cell phones, round the clock, knocking them out.
And we could be feeding them that mystery glued meat or whatever. And
there you go.
Regular meat is for us.
And the Mushy McDonalds. See what I'm saying? Let me start with the allegations allegedly from McDonald's before they send us a cease and desist order. Alleged Mushy McDonald's. I mean, we saw the video, but it's still alleged.
Should be stocked with that KFC toothpaste that nobody else bought.
See what I'm saying? We got it mapped out. Somebody should hire us, JT. We got it mapped out. Somebody should definitely hire us. Unbelievable. Okay. All right, next story. On with the prison talk.
A 380 lb killer has been executed after his lawyers claimed he was too overweight for lethal injection. Michael Tansey, branded a fledgling serial killer, was put to death just after 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening at Florida State Prison in Ryford after his lawyers tried to stave off his morbid end. Tansey, who brutally kidnapped and murdered Janet Acosta, a Miami Herald employee, 24 years ago, indulged in his final meal request of pork chops, bacon, ice cream, and a candy bar. In his final statement, Tansey said, "I want to apologize to the family," before reciting a Bible verse. The lethal injection was administered to Tansey before he heaved for 3 minutes and then stopped. He was pronounced dead at 6:12 p.m. The victim's sister, Julie Andrew, said upon witnessing Tansey's execution, "It's done. Basically, justice for Janet happened. My heart felt lighter, and I can breathe again." Only last week did Tansey's lawyers ask the U.S. Supreme Court to spare him from lethal injection and argued that the method would be incredibly painful for him due to his weight. They filed a brief on March 24 stating that he was morbidly obese and suffers from a nerve condition called sciatica. His lawyers argued that due to his obesity, the state's 3-drug lethal injection could potentially cause Tansey serious illness and needless suffering. The brief detailed that the drugs may not be able to fully sedate Tansey, and he would be left paralyzed, but aware with a sensation of being burned from the inside. However, the request was denied just hours before his execution. Acosta, 49, was on her lunch break in her car on April.
All right, so yeah, he killed this reporter or whatever from Miami Herald. But the reason I brought this story up was he was denied, and the Supreme Court said, yeah, you know, you've been on death row for like 13 years now. Your fat ass had time to slim up. Oh, well.
To lose weight. He did. Yeah, he did. He had time to lose weight. He had a lot of time, but he was appealing. I think you get 9 appeals for on death row. So maybe he was hoping that one of his appeals hit, or the last one hit, or the second to last one hit. So yeah. So they wanted him to not feel any pain. You're gonna kill him.
You said that it was. I guess it was. You know, that the 3-drug cocktail or whatever, you know, is not going to work the same on him because he's so big or whatever. Like, I guess you just give him more of it.
So we're talking about a humane issue, like on the fact that he killed someone, but he's still entitled to the same humane courtesy as to not suffer upon his death. But he kidnapped a woman and killed her. Did he give her a cocktail? Like, did he cause her to not experience any pain? Come on, get out of here with that. Come on.
No.
Here.
His last meal should have been like, I don't know, like some White Castle and some laxative or something if he wanted to slim up, or like.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that story. We're going to be humane to a person that killed another person. I mean, pain, no pain, dog. Like, yo, slim up, do something. Like, that's not okay. I don't really care.
I don't eat pork, but like, are pork chops that good that it's like a last meal? Like pork chops, bacon, candy bar.
They should have gave him that KFC toothpaste. How about that? They should have gave that to him. Like, yo, humane. Like, come on now. Nah, we're not doing that. Nah, bro. We good. We good with that. Your lawyer's like, we don't want him to feel any pain and suffering, but he victimized somebody. He killed them. Like, come on, we're not doing that. Nah, I don't really care.
We throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks, and obviously his fat ass wasn't, you know, was too big to stick. So
good. And it didn't become case law for the next felon. Thanks for that. That's it. There you go.
Well, you know,
great story.
As I say, that's just Florida. So
Florida.
And here, you know, here goes
I'm still a fan.
Another story. I think this one is out of Florida too.
Tonight, a former Polk County assistant principal remains in jail on $50,000 bond. Kiva Clark went before a judge this afternoon. Investigators say she forced a 13-year-old student to give her a foot massage in her office and had previously made inappropriate comments to the same boy. She is charged with lewd conduct and lewd offenses against a student by an authority figure.
She thought she was getting a pedicure. Is that what happened?
No, well, you know, people get in trouble and get sent to the assistant principal's office, and she was like, "Oh, well, your punishment is going to be rubbing my feet."
Yeah, she needs to sit in there. $50,000 bond. She doesn't have it. How much is $50,000 bond? How's that converted to his cash? Because isn't it cash or bond?
I don't know. It depends on every state. Every state has different rules, but I don't know if you're talking about is 10% is like
Florida,
5,000.
Well, Florida bond is, and they're their bond to cash conversion is like very low. Like you'll have $100,000 bond and then like a $2,000 cash or something like that, cash bail or something. So $50,000 is really, if you try to convert it to cash, maybe that's something to look up. We'll bring this story back. Like $50,000 could probably be like a few $100s in cash, but she's the assistant principal. She didn't have it. She didn't have no fans. Nobody showed up for her. She should stay there. I like that. She can stay locked up until her hearing.
I'm sure she can get a lot of foot rubs where she's at now.
Yeah, she's good. You don't mistreat your power. You don't abuse your power to mistreat kids. I mean, that's an abuse of power. You're an assistant principal. Kids are usually
I don't know. I'm like, depending on who the kid's parent is, right? Like, do you want a phone call home, or do you just want to just rub these ashy bunion feet or whatever?
That's not her place. That's not her place. Call the parents. You don't offer nobody to touch your feet. Nah, go ahead with that. Get out of here. Go to the nail salon on your day off, Ma. You got a whole summer to get your feet done while kids are on break. Get out of here with that. Get your feet done on your own time.
20 years from now, this kid is going to be in a therapist's office, addicted to feet porn, and it all started with talking in class and getting sent to the assistant principal's office.
You might end up being a person that kidnapped women for their shoes too and rubbing their feet. She might be creating a monster. You're right. I agree with you. She might have just created a monster. This lady wild, yo. She needs, let her hold down that 50,000 bond. She could stay in there. Assistant principal. Get out of here with that. I had an incident where the teacher wrote on my kid's hands and I had to confront them like, where y'all think we at with this? How you gonna write on some kid's hand? Oh, because he had already wrote on his hand. That's not your place to add additional scripture on his hand. Are you crazy? I had to get an apology. It went to the principal because it happens. Abuse of power. They don't be thinking, honestly. They don't think. They do not think. They think they're treating these kids like how they treat their kids at home. And they need reminders. So now everybody in that school or everybody in Polk County is going to be a high alert of what to do and what not to do with a student. That's not your kid. So, yeah, I like this story. I like this one, JT. Good job. See, that's what out of me.
Yeah. So if you like stories like this and whatnot, like, comment, subscribe, put your notifications on, share it out. And let's get into this next one. I know last time we was here, we were talking about cops, but educators, can get it too. So.
A 350-pound teacher in Minnesota has been charged after he allegedly used a 6th grade student as a stepping stool during a school safety drill, cops said. Jason Rogers, 48, confessed to standing on the boy's back after the student opted to lie on his stomach instead of sitting down. During the drill at the Underwood School last month, the Star-Tribune reported, citing court documents. The boy's mother said the saga had left her son so badly injured that he was walking around like an 80-year-old from the pain in his back, the criminal complaint states. Authorities were only alerted to the ordeal after the boy was taken to the hospital to be treated for his injuries, cops said. The boy told cops his teacher stood on his back for roughly 10 seconds, causing him to cry out in pain. The child did not know why defendant did this because he did not hear him say anything about it and just stepped on him like he was a stepping stool, the criminal complaint said. He stated the entire class saw it and thought defendant had broken the boy's back. When questioned, Rogers, who acknowledged he weighed roughly 350 pounds, allegedly admitted he did it because he didn't think the students were taking the drill seriously enough at the time. He said multiple kids were lying on their stomachs and that he had warned them he could step on them in their current position. Rogers then allegedly put his foot on the injured student's lower back and put his weight on him, the court documents stated. After hearing the boy groan and say, "ouch," Rogers told cops he asked the child if he was okay. The teacher also copped to stepping on 2 other students during the drill, according to the complaint. He was slapped with 1 gross misdemeanor count of malicious punishment of a child as a result. Rogers has since been put on paid administrative leave while the incident is investigated, a spokesperson for the Underwood Public Schools District said.
You're 350 pounds and you're asking the kid if he's hurt or feels any type of way. Like, what? Again, abuse of power. What's wrong with this? The faculty of these schools is just ridiculous. I got PTSD right now. Like, yeah, what do y'all, the way they talk to kids, how they treat them. I know as a kid, they were talking to me rough. And when I tried to report it, my mother would be like, you're lying. So that's crazy. And all the students witnessed it. 8th grade, they're old enough to be.
6th grade. 6th grade.
No, I thought he was an 8th grade teacher. 6th grade?
Oh, 6th grade.
He's old enough.
And, you know, he stepped on multiple kids' backs or whatever. And when he stepped on their backs, the other kids thought that he broke their back because the kids screamed so loud.
Well, now they're old enough to testify. I tell you that. They're old enough to testify and give statements to their parents. That's a huge lawsuit. And those kids need therapy. Like, what are we doing? It's unfortunate.
They need physical therapy and psychiatric therapy.
Yeah, they do. They need psychotherapy as well. You don't just put your body on another kid's back because they laying down doing a drill. Like, yo, just help them to understand this is like really, really important. It's important for you to pay attention for your own safety, for the safety of your peers. Sounds easy what I'm saying, but I don't know what other job he had. Was to like explain.
Fat people should be revolting against this. Like they should be asking for him to get the like showing up, giving witness statements and saying like, yo, throw the book at him. Because now kids like that kid is gonna grow up hating fat people. Like
and
that guy just gave fat people a bad name. So
he's gonna grow up hating fat people. Yeah, okay. Well, that he was their representative. Now y'all got one. Now he's being booked. Well, they didn't even charge him with nothing, right? They didn't lock him up.
No, I think he's well, I know he's on like paid leave, but
he's on leave. He's on paid leave. He shouldn't be on paid leave either. That's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
Continuing with more teacher stories.
School shenanigans.
But first, on this Wednesday, multiple families with special needs kids in the West Hempstead School District are coming forward, alleging physical abuse inside the classroom. Parents say the school knew about it, but did nothing to stop it. News 12 Long Island's Jonathan Gordon has new details from outside Cornwall Elementary.
The number of disturbing claims about what allegedly took place inside of a 2nd grade special education classroom at Cornwall Avenue Elementary School has only grown in the month since we first reported the initial investigation by the school.
Kids being put in dark closets and with the door being held closed until the kids scream to get out. There's allegations of kids being grabbed by the collar, dragged to the ground, hit on the head with textbooks.
Attorney Nathan Worksman shared some of the allegations brought forward in a new notice of claim against the West Hempstead School District. Worksman said he represents 5 families who had kids in John O'Dwyer's 2nd grade special education class between 2023 and last year. These new allegations are coming to light 1 month after News 12 first reported the school district sent a letter home to several parents, letting them know they launched a child abuse investigation.
Sadistic and disturbing.
Worksman said parents raised concerns with the district about why their kids weren't enthusiastic to go to school or why their behaviors were changing.
What we've alleged is that the West Hempstead Union Free School District was making these parents feel like, 1, their concerns were not valid, or 2, it was something wrong with their kids.
A spokesperson for the school district said it does not comment on matters pertaining to litigation and referred us back to a March statement from Superintendent of Schools Daniel Raymond. The district is aware of these allegations and has taken all appropriate steps in reporting the claims to the necessary agencies. The family at the center of this notice of claim is seeking $22 million in order not to file a lawsuit. We will see how the district responds. In West Hempstead, Nassau County, Jonathan Gordon, News 12.
So with this being the anniversary of Columbine, I'm like, these teachers are really giving provocation for stuff like that.
Yeah, as you can see, we just uncovered like several stories that is no cap, right? These are real stories in the headlines. And again, these people don't learn. They don't learn from previous things that have happened in the past. Most people don't learn that way. You know that the school system, like the school environment, is very sensitive for many parents. When a parent send their child to school, it's a lot more concerning now than it was years ago, because you've had all of these shootouts at different schools in multiple states, or you've had kids bringing guns to school where their parents kind of like encouraged it or allowed it to happen. So these are special needs kids. So parents who have special need kids are highly sensitive to everything concerning their kids. And something like this will happen. It's going to be more than 5 families. You're going to see. It's going to be more than 5 families to come out and say something. West Hempstead, that's New York, Long Island.
Yeah, I'm like, if it's a special ed classroom, there might only been 5 kids in the classroom. So
nah, they pack them out now. Nah, they pack them out. I got special needs going on around here. They pack them out. They don't and they don't make like they have inclusion now, you know, so kids can be in a classroom in a quote unquote normal setting and still get.
Well, it depends on what type of it depends on what type of special education. Because like when I was a special education teacher, I was at like a dedicated special education
ed
school. And you know, it's like 6 to 1 and 8 to 1, and you know, there's a classroom ratio that you have to uphold by law.
School. Right.
Yeah.
But this wasn't a special ed school, it was a special ed classroom. Which one?
I don't know. I just know special ed classroom. I don't know if it was inside of a regular a general ed school or a special education school, but yeah.
Yeah, parents are sensitive about their kids, man, especially when the kids have special needs and they can't really advocate for themselves, you know, and they're struggling. So parents are really hypersensitive about this. You can't mistreat anyone's kid. Let's just be clear about that. You know, I'm an advocate for kids. You know, you don't mistreat kids, you know, whether they special needs or not. Watch your mouth, watch what you do, pay attention, and you will be reported. I'm the police on that. You will be reported. Don't be disrespecting people's kids. You know, kids are precious. They don't deserve that. So
so
I hope they get a lot of money. Huh?
I said so in that regard, and going into our next story.
You go another one.
Mother going after a teacher.
See, she highly sensitive.
Court records show a woman charged with bringing a gun to a Decatur Township school is scheduled for an initial hearing tomorrow. News 8's Danielle Zukoski breaks down the case and what the suspect claims her child was being taught.
Carrie Rivers is facing a felony charge for bringing that gun to school and a misdemeanor for harassing her child's teacher, according to charging documents obtained by News 8.
The charging documents said Rivers brought a handgun to Valley Mills Elementary School on Wednesday, April 9th. It came after she withdrew her daughter from the school to homeschool her after she says the teacher discussed same-sex relationships. River also claims the teacher's wife came to the classroom and they kissed in front of the students. Rivers told police she did not mean to bring the gun to the school. It was returned to her and she left. After that, Rivers sent 2 messages to her daughter's former teacher. She sent the first message on the school's messaging app. That said in part, messed with the wrong family. I'll tell you that. So please say your prayers and kiss your kids goodbye and good night. Never know when God says it's our time, so always be prepared. She also got a Facebook message from an account with Rivers' maiden name. It says in part, you should never tell precious innocent kids that it's okay to be in same-sex relationships. You should never be kissing your wife in front of your students or push your beliefs on our children. The teacher told law enforcement she feared for her safety.
Online court records state Rivers posted bond of $500 on April 12th. We've reached out to the school district, but have not heard back. I'm Danielle Zukoski for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.
Yeah, you got to keep your personal stuff out of it.
No, I'm like, so would this be outrage if it was if her husband came to class and she kissed him?
Yeah, you keep your romantic intimacy outside the classroom.
All right, so it was in front of the students. Was it like I'm standing in front of the class and doing it, or if we're at the door and the kids and the students just happen to see?
It shouldn't be done anywhere where kids can see. That's it. You're in a professional environment. What you do impress these children. They go home with these stories. They have things to compare to. Kids don't need to see all of that. That's not what the school. That's not what parents send their kids to school for. They send their kids to be activated with education, not your personal experiences. Bringing a gun to school and threatening her and all on Facebook. First of all, you leaving a blueprint. You leaving receipts of what you're doing, and then you got a gun. Like, yo, I think her reaction was very strong. She did the wrong thing for the right reasons. Does that make sense? You know, she did the wrong thing for the right reason.
I think it's an overreaction. I'm like, she said, all right, I took the kid out to school. Now I'm homeschooling. Why are you still messaging this person on Facebook if the kid don't even go to school anymore?
No, she just want to do something. She want to do something to the teacher because now her kid has other questions. And now her kid is maybe saying, I want to have a girlfriend or I want to have a wife. These kids, when they see something, they bring it home and want to talk to you about it. So it's like, wow.
Well, that's not the teacher's fault that people don't want to be parents and finish the education portion at home. They just want teachers to raise their kids entirely. I'm like, same-sex relationships are out in the world. They're gonna find out about it sooner or later. So I'm like, it was some concocted thing where it's like I'm teaching you a whole lesson on it or something. Is they happen to see something. It wasn't like they were intimate and doing they like who knows if this was like a peck or something. It wasn't like they were full on making out or something.
Well, do you think that teachers should be able to smoke outside the school? Standing like in front of the school and smoking cigarettes?
I don't know. I just don't see that many people smoking nowadays anymore. But back when I was a kid, yeah, I've seen teachers outside doing that or whatever. And
yeah, I think that.
I'm so old school. I remember teacher. You could if teacher had a prep period or something, they're in the class and they're just smoking out the window.
But you got to know the role that you play as a teacher, right? Kids see you equal to their parents. So they're more willing to learn from you, just like they will learn from their parents. So what you tell them in the classroom, they're not going to question. Everyone has their own value system. And
you must not have ever been an educator saying kids don't question anything. Hell, they do.
No, I'm saying to you that we got to look at what age are we talking about here? Because if it's under 10, it's a problem. If it's over 10, fine. But anything under 10, it's a problem. It's a problem.
But that's your standard of under or over 10. I'm like, somebody else might have a different standard of,
correct.
Don't talk about this until they're 18 or
correct. And that parent is an example of I'm setting a boundary for my kid. I know when I want to have this conversation with my kid. So far, we haven't encountered the same-sex relationship, romantic interaction anywhere in the world. And then here you are bringing it to school.
I'm like, if you care that much, you need to go up, the first day of school or when you meet the teachers before they start or whatever, and question them about their personal life and and hey.
You can have a conversation with the teacher, and it's certain things you can say without saying too. I agree with you, but you gotta be able to have that dialogue early to let the teacher know what your expectations are in the classroom. Like, listen, my kid don't eat peanut butter. I don't need nobody bringing peanut butter to the classroom.
But what's the difference? What's the difference in you live in this white community and you're like, oh, well, we have a black teacher now, and you know,
Don't bring no African American
I don't
studies to the school.
huh?
Don't bring no African American studies to the school. Don't wear no what's the print? That black, red, yellow, green, orange, green. Don't bring none of that. Don't wear no
dashikis, no koofies, no fros, no braids.
Nothing. Don't do the fist bump. None of that. Don't teach my kid nothing. Don't give them no crip dap, no gang signs, nothing. Exactly. That's how it goes. That's exactly how it goes, yo. Don't bring none of that to school. None of that. Don't bring
I'm like, what's the difference in you having a Hispanic teacher and they say something in Spanish, they say something in Espanol, and you're like, this is an English only home. We don't want our kids learning that.
Don't bring no plátanos to the classroom. None of that. Don't bring no arroz con pollos, nothing to the classroom. Nothing. That's how it goes, man. These teachers are sensitive, but they don't homeschool. They're sending their kids out into the world, but they are still sensitive. When you take your kid on a trip anywhere outside your house, they're going to see something. So be prepared to have the conversation. I remember I took the kids to the movies, and on 42nd Street, they had this huge billboard of two men kissing on the billboard. And I got the question. As a matter of fact, I took a couple of parents' kids. Like, I did a whole field trip. We drove to the city, and everybody looked up and had a question about that billboard. And I was like, oh, shit. They all come from different backgrounds. I had boys and girls with me, and they all was like, why are those two men kissing?
My answer immediately is, I don't know, because I don't know them men. Honest, truthful, and you keep it moving.
I said maybe they like each other or something. I don't know.
See, you interpreting stuff. You're like, you just need to give a flat out answer of.
Listen, they know what kissing is. They know what kissing is. They're not confused by kissing. They know what kissing is. They already know what
they're asking you why these two people are doing it. I have no idea why they're doing it. Somebody might have dared them to do it. They might be in love. I don't know.
Nah. These kids, they know billboards. They know billboards. I said,
kids play dumb and ask questions to get
an answer. To confirm
and I'm like,
what
I'm not playing your game. I don't know.
You was like, I don't know why these two men are kissing. I don't even see them kissing. Oh my God. I said maybe they like each other. I don't know. That's it. That was my best. I'm not going to play them. I'm not going to make them feel stupid. They see something. I said, but when they go home, they're going to have a conversation with their parents about their day. So I know the conversations came up. But for my kid, I was like, maybe, they like each other. It's a romantic relationship. It's going to be a man and woman, a man and man, a woman and woman. That's it. I'm not going to hide that stuff because, like you said, it's out in the world. So it's better that you explain it to your kid than them being explained by another kid who don't know what the hell they're doing. And that kid can come from a same gender parent household. So now that kid experience is going to be unique from your kid's experience. But that kid is like, I have two mommies or I have two daddies. And your kid is like, how do you have two mommies and daddies? I only have one mommy and daddy. So it's sensitive though. It's definitely sensitive, but shout out to the mom that's now facing charges. One for her because she played herself. You took your kid out of the environment, move on from it. Y'all got to heal together. So shout out to her for getting locked up.
Talking that bullshit about, I brought the gun there by accident.
No, you didn't. No, you did not. You did not. You ain't even got to be there no more. You trespassing. All right, here we go with more accusations of craziness.
All right, so the next few stories are New York City stories, and let's just take it to the Bronx.
A terrified mom is speaking out, accusing her neighbor of terrorizing her and destroying her door with a hammer. And as you saw, it was all caught on camera. News 12's Noelle Lilly spoke exclusively with the victim, who is too afraid to show her face, and explains the NYCHA rule that's keeping her from moving.
This is what one Bronx mom saw on the other side of her Ring camera this month.
I just hear banging on my door, like with a hammer and a bat. Bang, bang, bang for no reason.
This mom has lived at her NYCHA apartment for years and says she's never had any problems until Nigera McCasling moved in. In this video from a week ago, you can see a woman screaming and smashing this mom's door with a hammer and a bat, allegedly unprovoked.
We never had any encounters. She's dangerous. Nobody's helping me.
Police arrested McCasling for the incident, and the DA's office charged her with several crimes, including harassment and criminal possession of a weapon. But the charges are not bail eligible. According to court docs, she was released, and this mom says NYCHA has allowed her back into the building.
I feel like with situations like this, they should be the ones to say you have to go. I just don't understand why they letting people out like that commit crimes.
NYCHA told me they would work with this mom on moving her to a new apartment, but occupancy rules state she'd have to downsize from the 2-bedroom she's lived in for over a decade to a 1-bedroom because her son is under the age of 6.
I'm just tired. I just want to be comfortable at home and to raise my son in a safe environment.
She recently got an order of protection, and the DA's office said a victim's advocate would be in touch. The suspect is due back in court May 8th. In Soundview, Noelle Lilly, News 12 The Bronx.
So the government says when you get 6, then you can have your own room?
Yeah, there's a law here regarding housing and your kid. Like if her kid was a boy, then the boy gets a separate room. If the kid is female, the mom and the daughter is expected to share a room. Yep. So she opened up, obviously, a new page in her life where now they're like, wait, your kid is a girl and she's 6?
See, now going back to the last story, right? What does that mean? Because I'm like if you have 2 moms and a daughter, like that don't seem like everybody should be living in that one
same
room.
No, I think in that example, they would make the exception because now they don't want to expose their kid to parent. Now, if she had a husband, let's reverse it. If she had a husband with her, that kid would get their own room, whether it's a boy or a girl. If she had a man on her lease, that kid would get their own room. Yep, that's NYCHA. That's how they do it. They tell you how to live. Yep.
All right, so staying in the Bronx.
Well, talk about an unwanted guest. Imagine opening the door of your home only to come face to face with a stranger who won't leave. That is what one Bronx tenant told us that she has been dealing with in her Longwood apartment. And as News 12's Noelle Lilly finds out, that's only her latest problem.
I goes to stick my key in my apartment. That man pushes me out and says, I have a voucher for this apartment. Get away from my door.
Imagine this being your welcome home after a long day.
He was coming through this one. You see my bathroom window? And he comes through this one. Yep, and he comes through this one.
That broken window?
Yes, all the broken ones.
Police arrested Jarrell Coburn last month and charged him with the break-in at Itisha Hairston's apartment. Court records show he was released the next day. And Hairston, who says she's lived here 11 years, tells me it's not the first time.
You see, this was let down. He's still coming here. They released him 3 times. 3 times he was released. They came and took him right back out of here.
Once you get inside, it gets even worse. Mold, no working stove, doors off their hinges.
I haven't had gas in years.
Hairston says management has not made repairs, and when I spoke to the super today, he wouldn't talk to me.
Is there a way to contact your boss or something? Yeah, we can call.
See, they don't want to help me.
The building is facing dozens of HPD violations, but now Hairston says she's afraid to be in her own home.
I'm afraid of my life could kill me.
She's put chains on her windows and gotten 2 dogs plus an order of protection. In Longwood, Noelle Lilly, News 12, The Bronx.
A beyond scary situation to find yourself in. As for the suspected burglar, he is due back in court next month. We reached out to his lawyer for comment, and we will keep you updated on how this all turns out.
So I'm like,
she's not telling the whole story. She's not telling the whole story.
No, I'm like, she needs to find some good legal representation, because she needs to sue the hell out of that landlord. You know, emotional distress, all types of stuff. Like, she should be like a millionaire or something by now.
Capping.
Like,
capping.
I don't. I'm like, I know that people in the Bronx cap, but I don't think so. I don't think she's necessarily capping.
She capping. It's no way that she capping. Look at the way her place look. It's a bigger story than that. Come on, that's somebody she's serving. Come on, you haven't had gas in years, but you got 2 dogs. Come on now. Look the way the bathroom look. That's a trap. That spot don't look like a trap house to you. Come on now. Come on, JT. Look at the spot. Look at the cabinets. Look at the bathroom. That's a trap house. She's lying. She hasn't had gas in years, but you got 2 dogs. You can feed 2 dogs, but you can't pay a gas bill. The gas bill.
I'm like, maybe she just didn't clean up before the news cameras came over or something. I don't know. But I'm like, for the landlord to have all these broken windows and all of this stuff, I'm like, I don't know. It seems like it's not just all on her.
Listen, she don't live there. She don't live in that apartment. She doesn't live there. That's a trap house. That's a brothel. That's a brothel / trap house. She doesn't live there. Come on now. She capping. She doesn't live there. Come on now. Yeah, he
Why
broke
are you
in.
putting me in this position to stick up for people from the Bronx? This is just despicable.
Because you know, like I know she capping. Oh, I haven't had gas in years. The landlord not doing nothing about it, but you got 2 dogs. You got 2 dogs. She don't live there. No gas in years. So how you cooking, Ma? The cabinets are empty. Did you see the cabinets? The cabinets were empty. They were open and empty. She don't live there. That's a trap house / brothel. Ma, you capping. If you watching this video on the No Cap News recap, you are capping. She capping. She capping. Come on, JT. She capping. Yeah, he keep breaking in. He keep breaking in because he lived there.
You don't live there. This is a nut job. This is the dude. Like, he needs a psychiatrical facility. Like, how do you break it in 3 times? Like, no. Like, this is when your building or your landlord is liable. I've been broken into by the same person multiple times, and you haven't done anything to secure this building.
Listen,
no, this is your fault. You're liable now.
The landlord typically is liable, but she's capping. He lives there. She trying to kick him out. He lived there. Dude broke in 3 times and pushed up through the door, took him out. He got a voucher. He lived there. She don't live there. She lives someplace else. I haven't had gas in a couple of years. Come on. Get out of here with that story. Anyway, this is the No Cap News recap show. So we are certified to say what is cap and what is not cap on this show. And based on my spider senses and situational awareness experiences, I will say that she is capping. I stand on that.
I'd say no cap.
Get out of here. You say no cap? Nah, she capping. I'm glad she's in the Bronx. I'm glad she's in the Bronx. Keep that over there in the Bronx. Next story. Where we at? Staten Island?
Yeah, we're taking it all the way down to the city dump. Because that's, where the dump is.
Well, talk about an unwanted guest. Imagine opening the door.
If you think your breakups are messy, wait till you hear this. A Staten Island man, Harry Torres, just upgraded heartbreak to fire hazard status. And yes, it's as weird as it sounds. Firefighters rushed in to battle smoke, flames, and the overwhelming scent of melted shame. Sources say our hero tried to cleanse his sins with a lighter and a pile of vibrating regrets. PSA, if your toys buzz, maybe don't torch them like it's Burning Man for adults. Just throw them out, dude. This has been your daily dose of WTF News Report. Subscribe instead of burning your sex toys.
So, I remember a story from Jerry Springer back in the 90s where it was this guy likes this other guy, and the guy's like, I don't like guys. And he's like, leave me alone, right? And the guy says, if you won't leave me alone, then all right, I'm going to cut off my member and flush it down the toilet. Now, you should not want me anymore, right? As crazy as that sounds, that's what this story reminds me of. Because he's like, my DNA could be on these sex toys. So I'm going to burn them. And in burning them, I'm going to burn down my house and 3 others.
He didn't want to just wipe them off with alcohol or soap. No, he just wanted to burn them. Yeah, that's Cap too. I'm gonna go with Cap. I'm gonna go with Cap on that story as well.
No, did you see that guy being arrested in his bathrobe?
Yeah,
he looked like I heard this story on the radio. He looks just like what you would think a person that this story is about would look like.
Yeah, he does. White or non-black. Yeah. I'm joking.
No. Like you wouldn't expect Brad Pitt or somebody to. No, he looks Harvey Weinstein-esque. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you're a sexual deviant, sir.
Oh, he looks like the guy that got the lethal injection. Somewhere around there. We're getting close. Somewhere around now. We're getting close. But why would you burn the sex toys? Just clean them off and dump them, or have one of your call your peoples like, yo, I need you to come scoop some up and take care of it for me. That's how we talk in the hood. Like, yo, I need you to come get this for me and take care of it. Boom, there you go. I'm coming through. I got you. That's it. He don't have a network. He doesn't have a network. That's all. He don't have access to certain things. Because
as I said, the city dump or whatever is dump sites are in Staten Island. All you got to do is just throw it over the fence.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I think it might be something else going on with him too. Because there's no way you're gonna burn your own house down and 2 other houses. Like, where you gonna live now? What happens now? Where you gonna stay at? The shelter?
No, well, crazy. He has permanent housing paid for by the state now.
That's crazy. Unbelievable. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with him later on. Staten Island's interesting. I wonder what neighborhood. And I thought that 3-star alarm was the lowest. It's actually the highest. Yeah. It's higher than a 1 and a 2. I thought it went 1 was higher, 2, and then 3, and then 4. It's actually 3. It counts down. So I learned something new. I thought one alarm fire was the worst for some reason.
No,
but it's the opposite.
Up. It goes up. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so I learned something new on top of that. Some weirdo out here setting fires to sex toys, wellness. He getting his wellness on. I get that. But no, not now, boy. Like, sit down somewhere. But now you get the consequence, so we don't need to judge him. We just need to listen.
Who did he think was going to recover his DNA from these sex toys? Like,
something triggered them. Like, we're in a day and age of mental health awareness, and that means people get triggered and they do things, and we don't have an explanation after that. Something triggered him. Something happened to make him just like destroy the evidence. We don't know. I had a question, but not no more. I figured there's no reason to question this. He made his own self homeless, him and his family. So I guess we gotta figure it out.
You think he has a family? I'm like, I think the fact that he's burning multiple sex toys shows that he's very lonely.
No, there are men with families that be out on the strip all the time. What are you talking about? I see them all the time when I'm driving, stopping. They stop me sometimes thinking I got something going on. You got men out here that got full families. You don't think they be out here?
Yeah, and they go outside of the house. They don't have a whole Toys R Us in the side bedroom or something.
You said so you don't think he has a family, or maybe nobody was home. He got somebody in that big house. Come on.
I don't even think he has somebody. I don't even think he has clothes in the house. I walk around in robes.
Walk around in the robe?
Like he's the Staten Island Hugh Hefner or something.
Oh my gosh, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Listen, we got jokes on this show. So if you like us, comment, subscribe, set your notifications, tell people about the show, share our links. This is a No Cap News recap show. We are highly comical on here, and it's so unintentional. But we got stories and we got comedy. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Subscribe, share the link. Tune in. We try to do this every Sundays. We do it live. Then there's a recap of the Cap show. So check us out. But I think he got family. I think he has a family, but he might not, so we'll see. We can do like
if he has family, he's still living home with his moms. That's what it is. Maybe he was scared that his mom was gonna come down to the basement and find it.
So he's like 35, 40, still living at home.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right. Well, there you have it. The No Cap News recap. That's what we got for this week.
Yeah. The 420 edition. So roll it, light it, smoke it. If you Christian, you know what I mean? He is risen.
Go get that slave Bible. Go check out that slave Bible, people. For those of you that are curious to know, it's definitely in the museum on display. I saw it in person. The Bible is intact. So make a trip out of it. Go down to Washington, D.C. and check out the Museum of the Bible. I think it's called the Bible Museum. And they have a lot of great stuff in there. Check it out.
That's the only way that people should see it, because there's no way you should spend money for something that's redacted. Like, I'm paying money to see something that's not there. Like, no, I'll just see this in a library or a museum or something, because, like, if I already got the thing that has all the stuff that's missing in it, like, why would I buy something just to have it?
It's intact. Surprisingly, it's intact. So go check it out. Happy Easter, everybody. Thanks for checking in with the No Cap News recap show. LA and LAG and JT. We are out.